Welcome to the online thesis and dissertation presentation. My name is Jasmine Brown, and I am the Assistant Director with the Graduate School and your point of contact for all thesis and dissertation questions. What I will be covering with you today are the general requirements for graduation and the specific requirements for formatting your manuscript. The minimum requirements are that you are enrolled in the semester you plan on graduating, that you have turned in a candidacy, or what you may know as a candidate plan of study form, to the graduate school office. For example, if you plan on graduating this spring of 2019, candidacy forms were due on October 1st, 2018. And the last requirement is that you adhere to the appropriate due dates for your manuscript, such as the defense due date, the first upload, which is also considered the format check, and the final version upload. As you can see here, the due dates are listed. Your defense due date is on April 5th. Your first upload, better known as the format check, is due on April 12th. And your final version upload is due on April 26th. In order to submit your manuscript, you have to have a ScholarWorks account at UNO. You can log on to scholarworks.uno.edu or utilize the library webpage on UNO's website to locate ScholarWorks. When you are uploading your manuscript, you will upload to the UNO Thesis and Dissertation collection. After your first upload, you will receive an email confirmation, as well as the person who is reviewing, which will be myself. Just a note, format checks and uploads are reviewed in the order that they are received. After they are reviewed, you will have a decision sent to your email. The decision will be that either you need to make corrections or that your thesis or dissertation has been accepted. When you make corrections, you will log back into ScholarWorks, and then you will select Revised Thesis or Dissertation and upload the new file with the corrections. After you've uploaded again, the process will start again as far as me reviewing and you receiving an email about a decision on whether or not your thesis or dissertation has been accepted or if you need to make additional changes. The graduate school website has a series of resources listed there for you to help you throughout the process of completing your manuscript. Above, there's a link that you can click on that will give you more information, as well as where you can locate your checklist with the appropriate due dates. There's also a thesis and dissertation manual. This manual will help you with formatting. It will help you with access levels, tell you how to create your ScholarWorks account, and also help you with formatting your manuscript. There's a check sheet for format listed in there, a fair use checklist, explanation to the different access levels, as I said before, information on copyright, as well as Creative Commons licenses. Some of the major formatting problems that students tend to have when they're submitting their manuscript are the title page. The title page usually does not follow the appropriate requirements. There are problems with the table of contents, usually missing dot leaders or the page numbers are not aligned properly. The organization usually tends to be a problem. The paper is not formatted in the proper sequence. Page numbers. They're formatted wrong or they're in the wrong location. The abstract is usually a problem as far as it exceeding the word maximum that you're required to utilize when writing your abstract. The paper is missing keywords. The tables are not in the margins, are not labeled correctly. The margins are not set to 1 inch. Tables and figures are not integrated into the text. They are listed at the bottom all together versus being put into the body of your paper. or some people are missing a Vita, or else they assume that a Vita is a CV, so they format that incorrectly as well. Format requirements for your manuscript. The margins need to be at the 1-inch top, bottom, left, and right. Page numbers need to be bottom center. Every page number should be bottom center. Your fonts must be consistent throughout your manuscript, and they are only allowed to be between 10 to 16 point font. Your headings need to be consistent in format and clearly distinguish between first level and sub-level headings. This slide shows you the sequence of your paper, also known as the organization of how your paper should be. Your title page should be first. Where you see an asterisk, this is definitely a requirement, so your title page is required. If you decide to have a copyright page, a dedication page, an acknowledgement page, or a foreword, these will come after your title page. They are not required, they are optional. Your table of contents page will be right after that. And then if you do have a list of figures, a list of illustrations, or abbreviations page, it will come after the table of contents page. You will be required to have a list of figures or a list of illustrations or an abbreviations page if you include these things in your manuscript. After your abstract page, you will have an introduction page. Then there's your body, your references or works cited or bibliography. One of those is required. An appendix, and then your vita. Page numbers. Your title page is the only page that will be without a number. This title page is counted as page I, the first Roman numeral, but it does not have to have the Roman numeral on there. It should not have to have the Roman numeral on that page. All pages except the title page must be numbered. All page numbers must be at the bottom center, as I said before. There are 2 different number formats required for your manuscript. The section from the title page through the abstract, if you look at the previous slide on the organization or sequence of how your paper is supposed to be, the title page through the abstract is considered the front matter of your paper and is numbered with small Roman numerals. Numbering restarts on the first page of chapter 1 with Arabic numerals, so numbers 1, 2, 3, etc. And that continues through the end of your paper, so the body through the vita, which is the last page. A common problem that people have is changing the numbers from Roman numerals to Arabic numerals because they don't know how to break the page so that the numbers can be different. This is a screenshot of what you'll need to do in order to make sure that you make your page numbers the way they're supposed to be, or that your page numbers are listed the way that they're supposed to be. I'm going to give you a few seconds to go ahead and look at this, and then the next slide we'll talk about more information, and then at the end of the presentation there will be another link that you can find under this one that'll go through a breakdown of the Word document and how to format this. So how to do section breaks, how to renumber your pages, how to do your table of contents. There will be another link that you can utilize to get help with that. For your title page cannot be in all, or your title cannot be in all capital letters. You need to use upper and lowercase letters. Your title should start at the 1-inch top margin, no lower than that. And there's a section on this page where you have to use this exact wording. You will receive a manual that will show you a breakdown of what each page should look like. The title page will be on the next slide as well to show you exactly what you're looking for when you're trying to format your title page. It must be exactly like this. If you deter from doing it exactly the way it's supposed to be, you will receive an email letting you know that you need to make the appropriate changes. You'll use the exact wording submitted to the graduate faculty of the University of New Orleans in partial fulfillment of the requirements for the degree of. This statement has to look exactly like this. It cannot be in 2 sentences. You have to do the line breaks and make it formatted into those 4 lines. You will only list prior degrees that you've earned under your name, and then you need to make sure that you use the correct award month and year. So if you're graduating in the spring, that will be May 2019. If you're graduating in the summer, that will be August 2019. If you're graduating in the fall, that'll be December 2019. Here is an example of the title page. Your title page must be formatted exactly as you see it here. Also, just a quick note, master's degrees are master of. They are possessive and not plural. When formatting your table of contents, you need to make sure that it lists and identifies all the items that follow the table in the manuscript, including your appendix pages. A table of contents is optional only for candidates in music, playwriting, or screenwriting. In Word, use the tab function to set dot leaders. The tab function is going to help you to format your table of contents so you do not have to try to do it manually and have your page numbers or anything in your table of contents aligned incorrectly. On the next slide, you'll see a sample of what your table of contents is supposed to look like. I'll give you a few seconds to go ahead and look over that. On this slide, you can see the instructions and a screenshot showing you how to get to the tab function so that you can format your table of contents. I'll give you a second to look this over, and then on the next slide, it'll actually show you what the tab looks like, what the tab function looks like for you to go ahead and format your table of contents. Like I said before, there will be an additional link that will show you will be a walkthrough of how you format all of these things in Word. Here's the next slide that shows you the tab function. Go ahead and take a few minutes to read over this or to look at this just so that you can see this is exactly what it will bring you to, that is going to set up your table of contents as you see behind the tab function. Behind the tab function, you can see the table of contents and how the abstract and chapter 1 are aligned, the page numbers are aligned, the wording is aligned, there are dot leaders present. The tab function helps you to do this so that you do not have to do it manually. If you will be including tables in your manuscript, make sure that you keep your table within the margins. Change your orientation on your page layout to landscape if you need to get more on a page. If your table is too large and rolls over from one page to the next, each appearance of your table must have a caption. Do not group your tables at the end of the manuscript or list them at the end of the manuscript. They need to be integrated into the text, into the body of your manuscript. Abstract requirements. For master's thesis, there's a 150-word maximum. For doctoral dissertation, there's a 350-word maximum. Keywords must be listed at the bottom of the page. They are not included in your word maximum count. The last page before chapter 1 is where the abstract goes in sequence. And then it's also the last page of the section with small Roman numerals before you break to Arabic numerals. One thing that you want to consider when writing your abstract is that you may write an abstract that's 500 words, but when you're getting ready to submit your manuscript, you will have to shorten those words. If you don't, we do count when we review and do your format check, and you will receive an email letting you know that you need to make this correction because that is the word maximum, and that's the requirement. Your vita. Your vita is always the last page. It is written in the third person. It can be as little as a sentence or as much as a paragraph. It is not to be confused with a CV. This is a brief biographical sketch of yourself. It's about you. It is also required in your manuscript. It's the last page of your manuscript. When uploading for your format check, you're going to go to scholarworks.uno.edu. You'll click on My Account. If you haven't already created an account, you'll create a new account if you haven't created an account. The email address that you provide is the one that you will receive your notifications on as far as when you submit, when you've received a decision. So you want to make sure that whatever email address you're going to use is one that you check frequently. Once you've logged on, you'll select Submit Your Work in the author corner. There's a screenshot right here so that you can see where the author corner is and where Submit Your Work is so that you can know where to go to submit your manuscript. Once you click Submit Your Work, there'll be a section that's going to ask you for some data. These are the required things that you'll need to answer or put in. These are not optional. You'll need to make sure that you have all of this information before you go in to submit your work so that you can fill in the data correctly. A lot of this information too can be referenced when you look at your thesis and dissertation approval form. So your title will be on that page. You know that you're the author. All of your committee members or your chair, whoever, your major professor, whoever you need to put on this submission should be on your thesis and dissertation approval form. Also, the date of the award. Usually they'll ask you for this date, and most people think that it's the graduation ceremony date. That is usually the date that is the degree conferral date. That is not the graduation ceremony date. So if you have questions about this or you want to know what those dates are, you can always call the graduate school office and we can give you that information so that you're not inputting anything incorrectly. Now we're going to talk a little bit about access levels. So if you select access level 1, which is unrestricted, your manuscript will be immediately released for access worldwide. If you select access level number 2, you need to make sure that you pay attention to the degree type. You will need to select thesis restricted, or dissertation restricted. This means that the release of the entire work for the University of New Orleans Access is only for a period of a year, and then after that year, your work will be released for access worldwide. If you selected access level number 3, you need to pay attention to the embargo date. The embargo periods are 1 year, 3 year, and 5 years. The date you provide is the date that you have agreed to its release. So you need to make sure that you keep that in mind. Another note is that when you are selecting embargo, you cannot select thesis restricted or dissertation restricted because that will forego your selection of embargo. So when you're selecting that you're going to do embargo for however many years, you need to make sure you just click thesis or dissertation, not restricted, because it's not the same thing. For the embargo period, the metadata, so the title, the abstract, and the keywords will still appear, but the manuscript will not be accessible. A lot of people get confused and think because they've seen that the manuscript has been posted to the collection that it actually posted the manuscript, and it doesn't. It's just the metadata, the title, the abstract, and the keywords. That's it. Another thing to remember, a signed hard copy of the thesis and dissertation approval form is required and has to be turned into the graduate school in order for us to accept your thesis or dissertation. Once this document is turned into the graduate school, please note that this is considered the final approved title. Once your major professor and committee members have signed this form and you have turned it in, the title on your uploaded manuscript must match. Here's an example. If you turn in the signed approval form and your major professor tells you that you need to change the title, you will need to complete a new form with the title change and have your major professor sign it. If you have no access to your major professor and you can't get a signature, you will need to have that person email the graduate school or email the director, Amanda, saying that it is okay for the title change. And then we will print that out and staple that information to your actual signed approval thesis and dissertation form. When uploading the final version, after you receive your feedback from me, the reviewer, on the format of your manuscript, and you make the changes you should, log back into the collection, and then go ahead and do the revised thesis or dissertation and upload your final version by the due date. Make sure that you're not creating a duplicate account. We don't want you to continue to try to upload and have 3 manuscripts uploaded at one time, because then that's only more confusion for you, and then you also don't need to create more than one account. By clicking revise thesis or dissertation, it just helps you to replace the previous one. When you log in, you'll see your manuscript title. Just click the hyperlink, and then you'll be able to upload. After you upload, you'll receive another email notification or confirmation saying that your manuscript was submitted. Then you'll receive feedback from myself saying whether or not it was approved, and also you'll get an email a couple of weeks after it's approved saying that it's been posted to the collection. All approved manuscripts will be posted to the collection regardless of access level. So for example, if you posted it in your embargo, like I said before, they will not be able to see your manuscript. They will only be able to see the metadata, so your title, your abstract, those things. That's it. This is the conclusion of our presentation. If you have any questions, you can reach us at the graduate school office. Also, don't forget about the link that is going to be right behind this one that will give you a walkthrough of the Word document, how to set up section breaks, how to set up your table of contents page, what your title page should look like, and also separating those page numbers.